Deaf versus hard of hearing. What's the difference and what am I? This is a very common question that I hear all the time. People ask me that and I see it searched a lot on Google. So I thought, let me answer it for you, and I'm going to answer it in two different ways. Number one, it's not very different at all. And number two, it's very different. Yep, I know, I made it very confusing. Two answers, I shouldn't be doing that, it's not allowed. But allow me to explain why I've given you two answers. Let me start off with, it's not very different at all. Well, the reason I say that is because there are, conversations going on that maybe it should just be one label and that's it, called deaf. That's it. There's no need for all the different terminologies like capital D deaf, small d deaf, deaf blind, deaf disabled, late deafened, and hard of hearing. It's not very different, they're all the same thing, just have one label, deaf. But then the other answer is that it is very different, because hard of hearing implies that you have a moderate to maybe mild hearing kind of situation where it's not severe. You can hear something or a lot of things. You don't use sign language as your first language. So it's very different because there is a perception that deaf means that you can't hear very much or at all. So that's why I've given you that answer as well. And then to answer the question of what am I? Well, I don't know. It's not that straightforward. Because you see, I grew up in a mainstream hearing world. I went to a mainstream school. I hear most things okay. I speak orally. I don't use sign language as my first language. So immediately that puts me into the hard of hearing, and that's how I have always labeled myself, because the word deaf has a perception of meaning that you can't hear very much or at all. So it is different in that sense. But over time I have struggled with my own identity, and I've struggled to kind of embrace that until the past couple of years and doing these videos, and it made me realize that I should embrace it more, and also made me think about, am I using the wrong label, the wrong terminology to describe myself, because it's a very, very grey area. And because of the common perception that the word deaf means that you can't hear much or at all, then naturally I didn't use the word deaf a lot. However, I didn't like the word hearing impaired, and a lot of people don't like that as well. Hearing impaired or hearing impairment, it does imply that there is something wrong with you and kind of put in a negative way. So I never liked that word at all. At the same time, I did originally accept hearing loss, but then I realized that doesn't describe me very well, because I haven't lost anything. I have always had that same situation all my life. Most people will say that if you have something and then you've lost it, then okay, you've lost it. So if you had perfect hearing and then you've lost it, some people prefer to be called, I have a hearing loss, and that's their way. Other people don't, especially those who are more profound deaf, because they feel like they haven't lost anything. If anything, they have gained a new word, they have gained their own culture, their own identity, their own language, and they see it as a positive thing, not a negative thing. So not everyone will embrace the word hearing loss, which is quite confusing as well. So because of that, I've always used the word hard of hearing over hearing loss or hearing impaired. I am starting to use the word deaf even more now, and especially over the past couple of years when I'm being more vocal about it. And even there was a Twitter conversation I was part of about the use of the word deaf capital D, deaf small d, deaf blind, deaf disabled, late deafened, hard of hearing, all these words. Do we need it? Should we have it just under one word, deaf, and that's it? And I had got involved with a conversation and I explained my situation, and the person who described herself as deaf, she said that I see you as deaf, regardless of whether it's severe deafness or not, whether you're using sign language or not, you are under that label, deaf. And I felt okay with that. I felt fine with being called deaf, even though a lot of people say, you're not deaf, you're hard of hearing. But frankly, not up to you, it's up to me. Let that be very clear. You don't decide, I or we decide the label. So what does that mean? Should I use the word deaf or hard of hearing? Well, To be honest, you can use either. I'm okay with both. However, I am leaning towards the word deaf because, well, it looks like I'm going that direction anyway, and maybe I will lose the tag of hard of hearing in the future. Who knows? Maybe that will be another video in the future if something like that happened to me. But I'm okay with both, and I'm okay with having that label because for me, well, I see it as one label. I see it as the same thing. But then there are other people who see it differently. But that's the point. It's not up to you. One person might say one thing, another person might say another. So my advice for you to ask that person, what do they prefer to be called? Is it hearing impairment? Is it hearing loss? Is it deaf blind? Is it hard of hearing? Is it deaf? Ask that person because they get to choose their identity, not you. And I should also point out that the word deaf is not an insult, so you are allowed to use that as long as you say it in a positive way. You don't say, oh, he's deaf. You can say, oh, he's deaf. That's it. It's not a negative thing to use, and if you use that word towards me, I'll be okay with that. It's fine. It's part of who I am, and it's part of many, many people. But like I said, just ask before you assume or you imply anything. So what's the difference between deaf and hard of hearing? Well, for me personally, I don't see it as being very different at all. However, I am very curious to know what you think. Whether you're hearing, or whether you're hard of hearing, or whether you're deaf, whatever it is you prefer to label yourself. Let me know what you think. What is the difference between deaf and hard of hearing? And what do you prefer to choose? What do you prefer to use? Let me know in a comment down below. I would love to know your opinion. As well as that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It would really be awesome if you could do that. And of course, I will come back with another video another time in the future. Take care.